Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report for Wednesday, February 16. We'll look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is just the crypto index here, which is this particular index. There's many of them. This one's just of the top 10. And it's just a weekly chart, and it just shows that, well, this is a pretty good opportunity to buy the dip, really, isn't it? You know, whichever way you look at it. Now, the situation with the particular counts here, and this would be the same for Bitcoin as well, is we can have the first wave 4 in place here as a running flat, as an A and a B and a C as a running flat. Or we can have a triangle pattern. So that would be the A, B, C, D, and E here as wave 4, and then to the upside. But in terms of hodlers, there wouldn't be a big difference anyway, because we could look at this, you know, if it was a D wave up here, it would be in 3 waves. If it was a larger wave 1, it would be in 5 waves. But it don't really matter, because it still sort of travel the same distance. I mean, short-term traders, that's a huge difference, but for hodlers, it's not. And then even if it's wave D or wave 1 here, it doesn't really matter, because it's just going to pull back anyway in that case. This is the same for Bitcoin as well, for wave 1 and then back for wave 2, and then pushing up into wave 3. Or it's going to be, you know, the C, the D, and the E wave here. So there's not going to be a lot of difference between what's going on here. Now, obviously, as things progress, we'll be able to confirm things. Now, yeah, I mean, they're both on the table, really, but I kind of like the idea that wave 4 is here. And the reason for that is because this particular low here on the 24th of January, roughly depending on where you are in the world, I guess, that's the same as the S&P 500, NASDAQ, all of those equities, stock equities and equities and so on. So there's a lot of other asset markets around the world that have also had that low in place there, and we're looking for further upside from these lows. So yeah, I think that this is probably the likely scenario, but I just really wanted to talk about the 2 different counts here, which we can have a look at with Bitcoin, but also just to point out that, you know, these things here don't occur very often, but it takes, what's a nice way to put it, intestinal fortitude, I guess, to move in on lows. And then it's also, too, it's a technical management question as well as managing the risk in terms of, there's obviously a difference between traders and hodlers that are dollar cost averaging, which is the better way to go, I'd imagine. That's what I'm doing anyway in this, but I've only got, like, you know, between 4 and 5 Bitcoin anyway. So anyway, it's enough for this little chat. So yeah, so look, the standard count of going to the upside, in this case with this running flat with wave 4 here, would be looking for 5 waves up here. And in this case, you can kind of see the big 3rd wave there, and we've pulled back for the 4th wave. So, and then we're going up for the 5th wave. Now, there is a variation on this count that I also want to have a look at as well. And the variation is kind of bringing it in line with the US equities. And remember that the US equities also had this low here. They also had this top here. They also had this pullback here. So for some particular reason, probably more so emotional than anything else, that they're all tuned in together, you know, so for whatever that's worth. Now, the triangle pattern here, of course, is that it would look a little bit like this here. So the A, the B, the C, the D, and the E, and then up again from that particular point. So just coming back to, I don't want to focus on the triangle pattern. We can have, maybe we may have a look at it, see how we're going for time. So just going in back to our other count here, this would be the standard count. Now, it's not quite standard. Last time we've been speaking, yesterday we were looking for this pop here, weren't we? And we got that. So, but you know, there's a really good case for putting wave 2 over here for this, and I understand that. and then still have wave 3 and 4 here and have that as an A and a B and a C wave, and that's probably the right count, but I can see it slightly differently in here for all of this, so I'll just put it there. Anyway, it's good to be a little bit different, and it's good to explore ideas, and anyway, we don't always get it right, and it's not a matter of being right or wrong, it's a matter of making money, so that's our main sort of focus. So carrying on from here, if this count is going to be correct, then we need to see this market move up into wave 5. So I want to show you the other count first, which actually puts wave 1 over here, and then in that case we would just move up to the box here where we are, and then we would have another move down here before we move up, and that would be wave 2 over here for that. So that's what I want to have a look at. So from here, first of all, before I leave here, we've got this is probably the most standard count here, with wave 1 here and wave 2 here. That's the most logical count. This count that I've got here, having wave 1 here and wave 2 over here, is really based on the US equities, and as weird as it sounds, you know, banks, Goldman Sachs, Morgans, all of those sorts of stocks as well, Apple, Amazon. So it's not that silly really, and they're all sort of, for some reason or rather, all tuned into each other, these the Bitcoin and the stocks and that. So I think it's, you know, we've been exploring it, and I want to continue to explore it, but in the next session it will prove which ones it's going to be. So yeah, let's just go in and have a look at that, which is on this chart here. So with this chart here, we're looking at it from the wave 4 here's 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 and 5 for wave 1 here, an A wave here, a B wave here, and down for the C wave here. Now, what we need to do next is we need to have a look at inside this B wave here to find out, because it should be a 3-wave structure, an ABC, and yeah, anything that moves beyond that ABC, then we know that that's not the case. So it's good to sort of look at this, even though it may not be the case, because if it does come down here, we don't have to panic. We know exactly where we are, and there will be 5 waves in this move here. And we'll probably come back and test the 40,000 at that point. So what we need to do now is go into here, and I think I don't know how close we can get. So okay, so this is the current situation at the moment. So if I was going to go up here, there's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can have a look at that on the tick chart. It's not a big deal. And then we can have a look at this here, and we can put this here. Now, this may not be the case, but it does bring us to the point where we can look at it as an ABC pattern that's actually complete. So that's kind of good timing for this video, which is today and all the rest of it. So that could be like that. Now, it does make a nice ABC, and it's kind of in the box where we wanted it to and all the rest of it. But I can say that any move above this high here now, and then we wouldn't be coming down in 5 waves here, down into the 40,000 or thereabouts, right? So if I was going to count this as a move to the upside here, well, then I would look at it in terms of, well, let's just count it again here, would be wave 1 here, wave 2 here, I think. Let me just check on that. Yeah, it doesn't really matter anyway for the purposes of counting. Oops. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's just clean up that a little bit. And then we could put this here as wave 1 here, and then back for wave 2. Let me get that in there. And then we would have a little A, B, and C wave in there. That didn't really give me a C wave, did it? There we go. So that would be the ABC here. So with this little wave 4 here, if we take the low here for this, because this is where we can, and this is the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. So what we can do at this point is take that low, you can refine that further, and I'll just plonk that in there. So what the market could do and should do is either going to have a little A, B, C down to this point and then have another high here. Now, if it makes that high here, then you know that we've got 5 waves up. And that way we can rule out the ABC pattern here for the B wave, because this will be looking at this again. If we're looking at that, that would be the A wave here. I'll just put the B wave in there and the C wave down here for wave 2, as I mentioned. That would be down here. There. So we're at a point where we'll be able to know shortly what's what. So I won't be able to do it right now because this little wave 4 is not finished. So we need to wait for that to move down and then come down to the wave, just sort of, well, I always like to gravitate over to the closest largest number. In this case, it'll be 43,500. So you could use that number for that. And yeah, so let's just see, let's just see. And the thing is that let's just imagine for a moment that we do get that push up here for this 5th wave up here, right? So that means we could take this low and go to the 45. 5, the 4's not much, but the 5 is the second strongest number. And then we could look at the retracement level, which will be back here at the 50-60%. I'll just bring that back over here a bit further, and that could go in here. Normally they sort of pull back to the wave 4s here, so once that wave 4 comes in and then it goes up here, it's kind of like that really. So it would come back and check that here, bounce off that, and then come down and check that. So it may not come down to the 50-60%, but we need to put it in there anyway. Got to kind of swim between the flags. And that will give us that wave 2 there. That means that the thing is, if we do get that move up here, right, that will give us 5 waves, a very clear 5 waves from the low. And based on that 5 waves, that means that we could buy it back in the box here. So we don't have to wait to get a setup at that point, because we know that we can buy it in that box based on the 5 waves. So I'll turn that green, so that would be the buying situation for that wave 2. So what I might do is just bring that out of the way a little bit and centralize it into that wave 2 there. That means that what you need to, this pattern here would be a zigzag, an ABC pattern called a zigzag, and that would be 5 waves, 3 waves and 5 waves. So you could also draw a line through here if you got the 5 waves. You could also take out the wave B here as well. There's many roads to Rome. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, then you need to sort of be a little bit safer. But if you see the market drop here and then go up there, then you say, right, we've got 5 waves. And this move up here should be roughly the same length as wave 1 here, because the extension is in wave 3. Because normally in Elliott with waves 1, 3 and 5, one of them is going to have the extension in it. Normally it's wave 3, but it can be wave 1 or it can be wave 5. But if it is wave 3, then wherever the extension is, the other 2 will have equality to them, so they'll be roughly the same size. Now sometimes if this pulls back here, then sometimes the length of wave 1 in some cases is not even long enough to go above the top here. So in those cases you can take 61.8% of the 3rd wave and add it to the low here and move up, or you can take that top and this bottom here and look for 61.8% back up there, so this 161 up here. Anyway, we always gravitate over, so the 45 is roughly where it is, but it could get vibrate like that depending on what the sentiment, what the news is at the time, or if there's any news or whatever. It's all emotional markets really. It's just a reflection of all of us. So that's kind of where we are really with everything. I know that's a bit of a complicated sort of roadmap, but in the simple terms, just going back over it, will be bullish if you go 1, 2, 3, 4 back to here and then 5 up, making a new high here. Then we got 5 waves, and then we're going to have a pullback, so you'll be looking to buy at 43,500 roughly, and then you start building into that point up there. But remember that this is wave 4 here, and this would just be wave 1 and 2, and then would have 3, 4 and 5 up here. So if we go back to the 4-hour chart, just to gain a little bit of perspective on this, because we just talked about having wave 1 to 45 here, and then pulling back for wave 2, then 3, 4, 5. So coming up into group 2 here, the 48,000. I know the market will just love to get to 50, loves to be pulled up, large numbers of like magnets, you know. So yeah, that's sort of where we are. So we just need to be careful here, because this is the point where we could be pulling back through down to here. And if this was the case, then we're sort of tuned into, you know, Goldman's, Morgan's, all of those sort of stocks on that side, and then the tech stocks as well. If not, well, then we just cruise up there. So either way, it's winner, winner, chicken dinner, you know, in that regard. And we'll look at Ethereum. It's just the same. So I don't need to go into giving you a whole lot of story. So up the top here can be wave 3 or wave 1, and down here will be wave 4 or wave A, and this here an A, B and C here for the B wave right here. So in this case, we'll either come down to here for wave 2, or we'll come down, well, you can see the 5 waves here. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a bit of an extension in the 5th wave here rather than the 3rd wave. Well, what I'm actually seeing here, when you see this, you're seeing this is this length, this is a bit longer, and this is longer again. So the ranges are expanding. So what we're actually seeing here is we're seeing an expanding market. So it's probably sort of bullish at this point, but we never know, and we've got to go step by step. So this can be a wave 4 here, and then have a wave 5 up here. So the same thing, so up to 3,200, maybe even a bit higher, up to 33 here for that, because we are expanding. You know, this is what it's telling me, the thing is pumping up, you know. So we can go up to here, but when we get up here, then we'll have the ABC correction over here, and then we'll move up from that point. So it's the same story. Yeah, we'll just see. We'll see how the cookie crumbles, how the market unfolds, and we'll pick it up when we need to pick it up, you know. So we're doing all the right things at the right time. Now, when I say that, it's a very rare occasion that we get the optimization of the whole structure. But I always play it safe, you know. I mean, I can handle a loss. I mean, loss is part of business, but when you have too many small losses, it's just the time that it takes to get back that bothers me a little bit, you know. Life is short, as they say, and you know that as you start getting older. I don't know if it gets faster or you just know you're running out. Either way, it's fast. Alrighty, enough waffling. Thanks. Cheers. Bye.